Being a genius at school just means you are really good at following instructions from people who are not rich. Meet Bob. Bob is a masterpiece of the modern education system. He has a perfect 4.0
I finally got an
GPA,
A+.
a collection of gold stars that could light up a small stadium, and a master's degree in advanced theoretical mathematics. His degree is printed on very high quality and very expensive cardstock. Bob is smart, and everyone told him so. His teachers and his parents told him he was destined for greatness. Even the guy who sold him his $200,000 student loan said he was a genius. Bob loves rules because rules make sense. In Bob's world, if you solve for X, you get a cookie. If you memorize the dates of the Industrial Revolution, you get a pat on the head.
But the
system is a giant vending machine. Insert effort and receive instant validation. But there is a problem. The real world is not a vending machine. It is a chaotic and messy, unscripted dumpster fire. The market does not care about your ability to calculate the volume of a sphere. Let us look at Bob's morning routine. Bob is standing in a grocery store. He is staring at a loaf of bread. Last week it was $2. Today it is $3. Bob's brain begins to whir. He starts calculating the derivative of the price curve. He factors in the velocity of the supply chain. He uses a mental calculator to plot the inflationary trajectory. This is based on the M2 money supply. Bob concludes that, mathematically, the bread should not be $3. It is illogical. The equation is unbalanced. While Bob is performing a mental calculus marathon, a guy named Joe walks past. Joe did not finish high school. Joe thinks a derivative is a type of car part. Joe does not calculate the bread. Joe just buys the whole bakery. This is because Joe started a plumbing business while Bob was busy studying. Bob was studying the socio-economic dynamics of 14th century peasantry. Bob is confused. You see, Bob was trained to solve problems that have already been solved. He was taught that there is always a correct answer at the back of the book. He spent 20 years learning how to pass tests. But he spent 0 minutes learning how to pass the test of reality. Bob believes in the curve. He thinks if everyone else is failing, his C- life is actually an A+. The bank does not grade on a curve. The landlord does not give extra credit for
obviously
participation.
Section 3, paragraph...
Bob's credit score is currently lower than his body temperature. Why? Because Bob applied the same logic to his credit card that he applied to his homework. He thought he could negotiate the deadline. He thought if he wrote a very long and very articulate essay, the interest rates would go away. They did not. The interest rates do not have ears. They only have teeth. Bob is a straight-A student in a D- economy. He has a high IQ, but a financial literacy level of a decorative houseplant. He sits in his studio apartment. He looks at his diploma. It is beautiful, and the calligraphy is exquisite. The Latin words say something about knowledge and light. But it is dark in the apartment because Bob forgot to pay the electric bill. He was too busy researching the history of the power grid to actually fund it. He tries to use his diploma to pay for a pizza. The delivery guy stares at him with a blank expression. Bob says this is a master's degree. It represents 5 years of rigorous academic pursuit. The delivery guy says that is great, but it is $20 for the pepperoni. Bob realizes a terrifying truth. The world does not pay you for what you know. The world pays you for what you can do for it. And right now, all Bob can do is explain why he is broke in 3 different languages. He has been running on a treadmill for 2 decades. He thought he was winning a race. He is at the top of the class. But the class is inside a building that is currently being sold. It is being sold to people who did not even go to class. Bob looks at his bank account, and it is a 0. A perfect and round and mathematically beautiful 0. But for the first time in his life, he cannot find the answer in the back of the book. While Bob was busy polishing his academic trophies, the world moved on without him. Enter Joe. Joe is the person Bob spent 4 years of university making fun of. Joe's vocabulary is limited. Joe thinks liquidity is something you buy at a bar. Joe does not know what a socio-economic paradigm is. And frankly, he does not care. Joe has a secret weapon that Bob's textbooks never mention. He has common sense. While Bob was taking out a loan to study the philosophy of wealth, Joe was busy buying a lawnmower. Then he bought another one. Then he hired a guy to push the third one.
Nothing here to...
Now Joe owns a landscaping company. He does not have a diploma on his wall. He has a deed to a property and a bank account that actually has commas in it. Bob looks at Joe and feels a deep intellectual rage. It is not fair, Bob mutters while adjusting his glasses. Joe does not understand the complex interplay of global fiscal policy.
GDP goes up
He should not be richer than me because I solved for X. Poor Bob. He still thinks life is a graded assignment. He thinks the person with the highest IQ is supposed to get the biggest paycheck. The market does not care about your IQ. The market only cares about value. Joe provides a service people actually need, while Bob provides a sophisticated explanation of why he is broke. Financial success is a psychological game. Joe buys assets that put money in his pocket, while Bob buys liabilities that look smart. Bob finally understands the ultimate equation. IQ plus ego equals 0. Stop studying the history of the wheel and start figuring out how to own it. Your GPA will not feed you. Cash flow will. Subscribe to Digital Bullion unless you enjoy being broke.